The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, 1962, outlines principles and techniques for anyone seeking mastery over the mind in the service of health, happiness, success, and fulfilling relationships. Achieving dreams and desires is within reach once obstacles and negative thoughts in the subconscious mind are addressed. Murphy draws upon spiritual principles, including the law of attraction, and biblical passages to illustrate the ease with which everyone can live the life they truly desire. The human mind is dualistic in nature. The conscious level of the mind is able to reason and make decisions, such as where to live and what to eat. The subconscious is responsible for the body's functioning, distinctly out of conscious thought and control. No one has to make a conscious choice to have a heartbeat, for example. When the conscious mind thinks thoughts repeatedly, they become embedded in the subconscious mind. Unlike the conscious mind, the subconscious mind doesn't reason or differentiate between good and bad. Regardless of whether thoughts are negative or harmonious, the subconscious mind responds by sending out vibrations in accordance with those thoughts. Positive experiences result from positive thoughts. For example, a woman may harbor a belief that she always gets along with her coworkers. As a result, a coworker that her colleagues find unbearable will not bother her in the least, thanks to her belief. Similarly, when thoughts are negative, negative experiences result. For example, a man who believes that he will never have enough money to pay his bills will create the conditions to be poor. Understanding how the conscious and subconscious realms of the mind work in concert is the first step in creating a more prosperous existence. Prayers are helpful in reprogramming the subconscious in accordance with desires. A person's particular religion does not matter in terms of prayers coming true. What matters most is a sincere belief that prayer will result in the desired outcome, along with a willingness to receive the desired outcome. Seeding the subconscious mind with transformational beliefs is a simple and even enjoyable process. Focusing too much on sheer willpower can interfere with the simplicity of prayer. When people will something to happen, they create a conflict between the desired outcome and obstacles to that outcome. To create change, prayer is helpful because it invokes the power of the subconscious, and that power can be supported by conscious actions. Techniques like practicing gratitude and asking for guidance from the subconscious before going to sleep can help people change their subconscious thoughts. Tapping into the subconscious is akin to tapping into divine intelligence and the infinite wisdom and perfection that God intended for all human beings. Freedom from negativity and fear is entirely possible for anyone who changes their thoughts. The natural orientation of the subconscious is one of health, prosperity, success, love, and fulfillment. Thoughts create reality. Beliefs that arise in the conscious mind get planted in the subconscious mind. The universal law of action and reaction ensures that a belief, whether positive or negative, will produce a reaction from the subconscious mind in time. The subconscious mind does not judge thoughts it receives from the conscious mind. The subconscious mind accepts whatever thought it receives and proceeds to emit vibrations that result in experiences that match thoughts. Therefore, it's critical to pay attention and to correct negative thoughts as soon as possible. The notion that thought creates reality came into the mainstream in 2006 when author Rhonda Byrne published The Secret, her blockbuster book that explains how thoughts draw circumstances into people's lives. Byrne believes that each thought has its own frequency and that the subconscious mind sends that frequency out to the universe. The universe then brings people and situations that match that frequency into a person's life experience. To change negative or unwanted situations, it's imperative to start by rooting out and correcting the thoughts that are responsible for bringing in those situations in the first place. This is also known as the law of attraction. According to this law, all people have within them the power of creation. The transmission that each individual emits has the ability to change both single lives and the larger world. Other people's opinions have no bearing on a person's life, unless those opinions are subconsciously accepted as true. People have full control over the thoughts that they accept as true. For example, if a fortune teller tells a man he will be cursed in love, he can choose not to believe that thought. If he does believe it, it becomes his thought. That thought then creates the reality to match the words of the fortune teller. Understanding this principle is vital to accepting total responsibility and manifesting healthy, positive outcomes. Take the hypothetical example of Sarah, a young woman who has broken up with her live-in boyfriend and lost her full-time job. She is staying at a friend's house while she looks for a new place to live and employment. She feels like her life has fallen apart and is constantly anxious about her circumstances. Her mother is also anxious about her situation and calls frequently. But Sarah doesn't find her mother's calls soothing. She finds they only heighten her fearfulness. Her mother thinks she shouldn't have broken up with her boyfriend before finding a job and says things like, "It's going to be impossible to find a place to live without a job," and "You're getting old and should have stuck it out with your boyfriend." At first, Sarah listens to her mother, which always prompts a meltdown. She feels that her mother must be right. After several days, Sarah decides to not answer her mother's calls. She thinks to herself, "It won't do me any good to listen to about how I'm doomed." Instead, she meditates and realizes, in this more peaceful state, that her mother's words are not gospel. From that point on, she starts saying affirmations and prayers for a happy, miraculous solution to her housing and work problems. These prayers and affirmations serve as psychological protection from her mother's doomsday projections. Not long after, Sarah gets a lucrative job, which enables her to find a nice place to live on her own. Her experience shows the importance of taking control of the thought process, including which outside opinions she wants to pay attention to. Sleep is a key time to harness the healing abilities of the subconscious mind. Because it is responsible for basic bodily functions, the subconscious is never at rest. Harnessing the power of the subconscious during sleep can be a productive way to get in touch with the infinite intelligence of the subconscious and solve problems that the conscious mind cannot. Intentions set before sleep can guide the subconscious to give answers to these problems. For wondrous healing powers to be unleashed, having faith and trust in the answers the subconscious provides is essential. Many scientific breakthroughs have resulted from scientists using the subconscious mind. In The Net and the Butterfly, The Art and Practice of Breakthrough Thinking 2017, authors Olivia Fox-Cabane and Judah Pollack outline many cases in which scientists and other innovators have successfully utilized the relationship between the subconscious and conscious minds, which they characterize as the default network and executive network of the brain. Fox and Cabane open their book with the story of how Einstein arrived at his theory of relativity. In 1905, Einstein had been working on his theory for 10 years and was completely stumped. Frustrated, he told a friend that he was abandoning his quest. That very night, he went home and, while at rest with his subconscious active, he came up with the key to his theory of relativity. For the next 6 weeks, he worked feverishly on the equation, which is now recognized as one of the greatest contributions to modern science. The key to Einstein's discovery illustrates the power of relying on the subconscious during sleep. When he stopped leaning so heavily on his conscious mind to produce the results he sought, he was able to access his subconscious, which possessed the answer. Health is every human being's right. A state of vital health is in accordance with God's image. For better or worse, health originates in the mind. Physical maladies originate in the mind, not the body, though many people have not been taught to address subconscious beliefs when they are physically ill. Having faith in the healing power of the subconscious is integral to becoming healthy. In the Bible, after Jesus uses his power to restore sight to the blind, he says, "See that no man know it." This is a caution to guard against skeptics whose unwillingness to believe could impede the healing process. Jesus' healing ability represents the infinite and limitless healing ability that is accessible to everyone. The link between mental and physical ailments is a belief shared by Dr. John Sarno, a physician affiliated with New York University who specialized in rehabilitative medicine. Sarno authored Healing Back Pain, The Mind-Body Connection 1991, a best-selling book that outlines the link between psychological stress and physical health. Sarno asserts that one can heal chronic pain, including back pain and gastrointestinal conditions, by addressing underlying psychological stressors, such as anxiety. Sarno's belief that psychological conflict can cause physical ailments was not embraced by the mainstream medical community. However, the testimony of thousands of patients who claim to have been cured by Sarno's methods proved to Sarno that the mind-body connection is valid. His recommended methods for improving physical health include exposing patients to the psychosomatic elements of physical pain, regular journaling, and therapy. Sarno's widespread popularity speaks to the healing value of addressing physical ailments on the mental and emotional level. The imagination is critical in turning positive desires for love, abundance, health, and success into reality. Picturing the desired outcome in the mind and accepting it as reality will result in manifestation of the desired outcome. Acting as if the outcome has already happened, visualizing the hoped for result, and feeling what it feels like to, say, receive an award, pay off a huge debt, or resolve interpersonal conflict are steps required for manifestation. It's not necessary to know how certain outcomes will become reality. In fact, worrying about the how element can block manifestation. Worrying about how is a common pitfall that author Arielle Ford describes in her best-selling book, The Soulmate Secret. Manifest the love of your life with the Law of Attraction 2009. Ford used Law of Attraction principles to manifest her soulmate, then wrote about what she learned. Ford's approach to finding lasting love relies on a combination of practices that use the conscious mind, such as creating lists of desirable qualities in a mate, and the subconscious mind, such as identifying and correcting any limiting beliefs about love that may exist subconsciously. Yet, she occasionally hears from readers who are overly focused on the action-oriented part of her program. They feel frustrated that they've been working on manifesting their soulmate, but nothing has happened. Ford chalks this up to their underlying attitudes. The subconscious mind is focused on the lack of love, so according to Ford, that love can't arrive because it is blocked by worries and frustrations. The universe cannot deliver love if it's not a vibrational match to thoughts and expectations. According to Ford, one must let go of worrying about how a desire is going to turn into reality. Strengthening faith in the divine intelligence is a more productive strategy. Practicing gratitude helps create positive thinking within the subconscious. There are several ways to fill the subconscious with positive, life-affirming thoughts, such as making absolute statements about a desired reality, as if that reality has already manifested. Cultivating an attitude of gratitude is an especially fulfilling practice because it brings about myriad blessings and can counteract fearful beliefs. Saying a simple thank you in response to anxiety-provoking beliefs can neutralize the negativity and simultaneously affirm faith that the divine intelligence within is working on the most perfect solution to any problem. Gratitude can be transformative, as writer and entrepreneur Natalie Kogan discovered when she embraced a daily practice of gratitude. In a 2014 Time article, Kogan writes about how a sense of pervasive unhappiness led her to seek gratitude and appreciation as a way of life. Kogan had grown up in Russia and emigrated to the U.S. with her family as an adolescent. Her family struggled to get to the U.S. and stayed in refugee camps before settling in the U.S. Life in America wasn't easier, though. It was stressful. Kogan's family relied on food stamps and lived in public housing. Socially, she felt like an outsider. Kogan believed that the pursuit of the American dream would result in greater happiness. As the years passed, she was successful. She went to a good school and had a good job. But Kogan felt perennially dissatisfied. She soon realized that her pursuit of the American dream was a recipe for unhappiness. She had been placing all her hopes in external markers of success, like career achievement. Once she became more grateful, she stopped viewing the source of happiness as outside of herself. Achieving a happier state is always possible. Kogan's gratitude practice includes 3 simple steps. First, she writes down 3 things that she is grateful for every day. Second, she is conscious of expressing her gratitude to others more often, which has resulted in stronger relationships. Finally, she makes sure that she finds time to slow down and cherish her experiences. Overall, Kogan believes that gratitude didn't change her personality into someone who is overly optimistic, but it has altered her life experiences in a profoundly positive way. Gratitude helps her manage her stress more easily and has brought her closer to her friends and family. She finds that focusing her gratitude on smaller moments also helps her feel more connected to the universe. Relying too heavily on willpower or the conscious mind creates discord and conflict and can block manifestation. Emphasizing willpower is one reason that prayers go unfulfilled. A person who is too willful about bringing about desired change actually blocks the desired change. This is because the efforts expended reveal a lack of faith in the subconscious. The subconscious doesn't respond to force from the conscious mind. Such coercion means that anxiety is present. Manifesting positive change happens when there is trust in the process, and that process feels effortless and possibly even fun. Dropping excessive effort was a lesson that New Age thought leader and best-selling author Gabrielle Bernstein relearned in 2014 when she and her husband were looking to buy a home. They had focused their search in Brooklyn, but the process felt laborious. The housing market was strong, and they kept looking at places they couldn't afford in neighborhoods they didn't even want to live in. What was supposed to be a joyous occasion was making them miserable. The negativity led to fights, ill health, and a complete loss of faith that they would ever find their dream abode. After viewing yet another place they didn't want to live in, their frustration hit a high point. At that point, Bernstein had been speaking and teaching internationally for years about basic principles of manifestation, which included having faith. In the midst of a meltdown, she paused and said, "There has to be a better way." She and her husband prayed that the universe would come up with a creative solution to their housing woes. The prayer made them both feel better. Following the peace brought about by praying, Bernstein came up with an inspired suggestion. Maybe they should look at homes upstate. They'd always talked about living in the country. That idea inspired a sense of fun and excitement. Within a day's time, they found 4 potential homes and had a broker ready to show them the houses they were interested in. The very first place, which they called the Mountain Home, felt right before they even pulled into the driveway. When they walked inside, they agreed they felt at home. Weeks later, they closed on the house and were both delighted with their decision. Bernstein's experience illustrates how important it is to remember to let go of the need to control via willpower, as she and her husband did when they decided to abandon their plans to find the perfect home in Brooklyn. Through prayer, Bernstein and her husband decided to tap into the infinite wisdom of the subconscious, and once they did, they received spectacular, life-affirming results. Many people with financial struggles tend to envy those who possess wealth. Being envious of others' wealth and success can impede achievement and prosperity. This envy can be a serious obstacle to generating wealth. Thinking negatively about those who have money is in conflict with a desire for more personal abundance. Resenting other people's success is detrimental because it breeds resentment and hostility, negative emotions that are not compatible with wealth generation, as therapist Amy Morin outlined in a 2017 Forbes article. To avoid this self-defeating trap, Morin offers several suggestions. It's important to remember that others may be at a more desirable station in life, but that detracts from a focus on the self. Plus, it's simply not true that success or wealth is only available to a select few. That defective thinking can be corrected by remembering that there's enough money to go around. A boss's success doesn't translate to poverty for the person observing that wealth. Additionally, it's impossible to know what someone else's life is like. Keeping perspective is vitally important. That perspective will ideally include the remembrance that all people are on their own path. Staying focused on personal goals and objectives naturally diminishes the instinct to compare. Since comparison leads to envy, it's especially important to remain focused on personal goals. As Morin's guidance shows, the more people can avoid jealousy and envy, the greater their chances for receiving the abundance they desire.